Today's practice, I'm inspired by the third eye chakra, and thinking about, even if you're not into chakras, but just thinking about intuition. What is drawing on what we seem to already know inherently that we sometimes cannot see, and that's sometimes a good way for us, a mantra for us to start our day. So in my easy seat, I'm just going to come in and arrive physically, mentally, spiritually. Just take a moment to take a few deep breaths. Say good morning to yourself. I'm going to start with a little quote from a book I've been reading called The Yamas and Niyamas, which are the philosophies of yoga. And this one happens to be about something called ahimsa, which is nonviolence. And there's a lot more to it, but since today we're thinking about the third eye is where you can cultivate your ability to trust and listen to your own inner guidance, in other words, your intuition. And one of the biggest challenges, this is her quote here, one of the biggest challenges to maintaining balance is feeling powerless. Feeling powerless leads to outward aggression in the form of frustration and anger, or withdrawal inward into depression and victimization. Ahimsa, or nonviolence, invites us to question the feeling of powerlessness rather than accept it. When we feel powerless, we have forgotten how much choice we really have. We have a choice to change the story we are telling ourselves. So instead of sulking in the feeling of powerlessness, we can ask, what do I need right now to feel competent to handle the situation? So asking our intuition for today, what do we need in order to handle our situation? I'll pause us there. And I'll invite you to just continue to arrive here before we continue into our meditation and movement. Palms up or palms down, eyes closed or our gaze softened. Becoming aware of your breath and aware of the quality of your breath. And from here, we're going to roll into a kneeling position. And for the kneeling position, we're going to do some alternate nostril breathing. So if you'd like to put a pillow under the knees, or maybe under the hips, between the hips and the heels, and just coming to that kneeling position. But if this is uncomfortable for your knees, just going into an easy seat is fine. So for alternate nostril breathing, I did this last week if you happen to be in my class, and if I'm using my right hand, I'm going to take my right thumb to my right nostril and inhale through the left nostril. When I get to the top of the breath, I take my right pointer finger, close the left nostril, and exhale out the right nostril. And then you inhale the right nostril, and then switch. Thumb goes back to the right nostril, and we breathe out the left. If that makes sense. We'll go back and forth this way for a couple moments. Exhaling now out the right nostril. Inhale the right nostril. Switching. Exhale the left nostril. Inhaling left nostril and switch. Just continuing this way. While we are breathing, considering that idea of our intuition, maybe the idea of feeling powerless. Take one more full round of breathing. And then join me back in our kneeling position. From our kneeling position, we're going to go into a kneeling fold. I'm going to take my pillow, and the pillow can either go to the knees or onto the forehead. But from here, just hinging at the hips. So from our kneeling position, slowly inhale those fingertips up toward the ceiling, opening up that chest, smiling up toward where the sun probably is. And exhale, hinging at the hips, diving down, reaching the fingertips out, and forehead down to the mat. If anything in this posture does not feel comfortable, feel free to come out of it. You can do this posture from a easy seat as well. And even if you can't bend fully, wherever we feel our bend stop is where you should be. Maybe we're just sitting upwards, or we're on our forearm, or we're all the way down our forehead or our third eye meeting the pillow. I'll stay here for just a moment. Breathing gently, feeling the weight of your body pressing into the mat and into your third eye. Make sure that you have left room in your belly for breath. And again, pay attention to the quality of your breath. Long and deep, short and shallow. Just observe your breath, feeling the weight on your third eye if possible. starting from our kneeling fold, slowly coming back into our bodies, inhaling, slowly rising back to our kneeling position. You can come out into a nice, easy seat. And our easy seat here, we'll do some seated cat-cows. So palms on our knees. Inhale your spine nice and tall. Exhale, feel your sits bones become heavy to the mat, and hold this posture as we go through our cat-cows. So for us, cat-cows will go a lot slower. So inhaling, opening up that chest, opening up your throat, feeling your forehead shining up toward the ceiling and toward the sun. And then exhaling, pulling back, arching the back, maybe pushing through with your hands to the tops of your shoulders. Don't let your lower back collapse. Keep the integrity of your back. We'll keep going through our seated cat-cows slowly and intentionally. Being aware of opening up our forehead, our third eye, our mind, up to the sun. Opening up our mind to intuition. And to understanding that we always have a choice in this situation. Okay, do one more round of our cat-cows, breathing. Inhaling and exhaling deeply, and come back to seated. We're going to do a little forward fold using our blocks to try to rest our forehead or to rest our hands, wherever you are in your yoga practice. So we'll start by, from our seated position, reaching out our legs into a nice cane posture and having a little space between the legs. Make sure that your sits bones are connected to the mat. Maybe take a moment to just flex and point your feet, wake up your calves a little bit and your hamstrings. We'll forward fold using our blocks. You could even, if you have a bolster, if you'd rather use the bolster right here on your thighs and your body leans over onto that bolster, you can do that too. I'm going to take my block. You could even just have the blocks next to you to lean forward on those blocks into our forward fold. And if you can reach toward your block without ending your back into an arch. So we don't want to be to the knees so that we're arching, but it's okay if you can't reach your head to the block. So whatever is going to feel comfortable for you, we're going to go into that forward fold. Arms on the blocks by their side. Our bolster on our bellies. Or maybe just reaching out and slowly finding our way. Inhaling our spine nice and long. Exhaling, allowing the forehead to come a little closer to the mat. And every day is a little different for our bodies. So maybe yesterday you could reach like I can. I'm super tight right now. So wherever you are, meet your body where you are at. Maybe we need 2 blocks today. So I have my one block nice and tall and another block on top of it. And this is where I'm resting my third eye. Making sure to leave room in our bellies for breath so we're not squishing our bellies. And if you can meet me here for this third eye fold, we'll stay for a few minutes, becoming aware of our breath. Paying attention to what our bodies need, what our mind needs, what our soul needs to start our day. And sometimes I will go quiet. I'm still here for you. I haven't left you. I'm just giving you some moments of quiet. Start to become more aware of your breath here. Let's take maybe 3 deep inhales and exhales. Slowly inhaling and equally slowly exhaling. And slowly, if you're holding onto your feet or your legs or a block, slowly release. And then start to slowly come back up into a seated position. Okay, so I'm going to move my blocks over to the side and we're going to move into a nice rest posture. We'll be laying on our backs and we'll do a chest opener. And so I'm telling you this because the chest opener can be a block that will go like where the bra strap is, or you could use a thin rolled up blanket if you'd like something a little less. So I'm going to use my rolled up mat and I'll place it on my mat and it will end up just right about where the bra line is. So reaching my legs out, I have something to support me here. And this is going to come opening up. Now you can use a block or a pillow under your head to support your head, or none at all if that would feel better. But be very careful with your neck. So make sure that your neck is supported. course, I'm doing all this while trying not to disturb my cat, who's now fallen asleep. But in our chest opener, so we should feel support under our chest and support under the head, either with a pillow or a block. If you prefer nothing under the head, this is yogi's choice. And your arms can be at your side or up over your head in cactus. I like to have my arms in cactus here because it opens the chest up a little bit more. Get a little bit more of a bend here. But of course, as always, if anything does not feel comfortable, take out the props and maybe just go into a nice shavasana here. Don't go into pain ever. So here in our posture, feeling the weight of our body pressing into the mat, and focusing on our chest opening, our heart opening. Breathing into the chest, breathing into our heart, asking ourselves to be open to intuition or open to new choices today. Make sure that your throat is open. It's not squished down. I just caught myself, my chin coming down to my chest. And you want to keep your throat open for breath. And keep inhaling and exhaling, being aware of your breath and the quality of your breath. What we'll do as we've done before, we'll take 3 intentional, slow, deep breaths. Inhaling to the top of the lungs, feeling the heart, and exhaling slowly. Do this 2 more times, maybe using just your nose this time. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. And once more, inhaling and exhaling. And to come out of this posture, to be very gentle, lower back and neck can get kinked here. So I'm bringing my feet up, bending my knees, bringing my feet up to the mat. And I'm just going to roll over to one side. So I'm gentle with my lower back and with my neck. And we can move our props out of the way, at least for the time being, and roll back on our backs. From here, bringing those let me try that again. Your knees up to your chest. As close as you can, just give yourself a little hug here. Maybe if you need to, just start by hugging the backs of your thighs. Maybe your knees are just dangling here. And as we breathe, slowly bringing those knees to the chest if you need a little time to get there. And give yourself a nice hug if that's available to you. If you want, maybe do a little rocking back and forth, give a little massage to the lower back. Inhale deeply, just letting your body relax into whatever version of knees to chest you're at. We'll add a little bit of movement here. Just hold on to just the right knee and let that left leg extend out and then lower down. Let your left leg rest. Bring in your right knee. Again, wherever you're at, your knee may not all be all the way to your chest today, or even just this morning. And then we can switch our legs, slowly releasing the right leg and switching the right leg out. It's just stretched out. Left knee comes in toward the chest. Breathing into the hips, breathing into your feet. Maybe doing some circles with the feet, one way and then the other. And then release the left knee, but then bring both knees back up to the chest. Give yourself one more good hug here. Squeeze it in, see if you got a little bit further this time. And we're going to roll over to our bellies. So I like to do that by placing my feet down while my knees are bent. And just rolling onto my side. And then I'll roll onto the belly. So we have an option for this one. We'll be on the belly. And if you'd like to try a little heart opener here, we can place blocks on either sides of our shoulders. Now, this is not for everyone, so I'll give you an alternative to this as well. But my blocks would be on either side of me, and each shoulder comes to the block, and then the forehead comes down. If you have a shoulder injury or if this is just not for you, merely move the blocks to the side. You can use your hands as a pillow if you'd like, and we'll take, one side to the other, and it's a nice little neck stretch if that is for you. If that's not for you, you could just let your forehead come down to the mat. So we have options for this one. But if you'd like to try the blocks on the lowest setting, so to speak, shoulders on each block, and then the forehead, I'm sorry, I woke the cat up. And then the forehead falling down to the mat. Feeling our third eye pressing into the mat. If you're with me in this posture. Whichever posture is working for you today. Make sure your neck is nice and protected. It's stretched out. It's not kinked up. And feel how your body has changed as it breathes now with the belly in the mat. Just observe how it might feel differently or even look differently as we breathe into this posture. As we're here, take that moment to come back to our initial idea of listening to our intuition, listening to what our body needs, especially if we're talking about feeling helpless or powerless. If you'd like to stay in that posture, whichever one you've chosen, feel free. If you'd like to try something different, slowly move out of this posture and staying on our bellies. I'm going to grab my pillow for my forehead and my rolled up mat or blanket and put the blanket on my belly around where my hips are. And if you want to stay in the original prone posture that we were doing, you're welcome to. But this is another option if you wanted to add something in. So I have a rolled up blanket, my mat just under my hips, something to gently give a little back bend here. And then now I've added my pillow in for my forehead. If you don't have a pillow you'd like to use, you can always use your hands as a pillow. Allowing the forehead to again rest and fall into the mat. Come back into our bodies by taking 3 long breaths again. Feeling how your body is different from our other 3 breaths. And if you joined me in this last posture, we can leave our props exactly where they are and slowly and gently roll to our backs again. So I'm leaving my roll here by my hips, I'm leaving my pillow, and I'm just going to add in a block, or if you have a bolster for under the knees. So I'm going to use my blocks today under my knees, just to have a little bit some more support, but maybe you have a bolster, pillow, something under my hips. This is called the Mountain Brook pose. And if any part of this doesn't feel right, you can always take something out. I'll do what feels comfortable. So find your way into a nice, comfortable posture here. And we'll stay in this posture for about 5 to 6 minutes. So I encourage you to make sure that you're nice and comfortable. Maybe you have to adjust things. Maybe the blocks under the knees don't work. Maybe you want to have something gentle under the knees. So it's our last supine posture. And I invite you to bring your hands to your belly, if that feels comfortable, maybe the belly and the heart. And soften your eyes or close your eyes. And feel your feet and your hands becoming heavy. And feeling your hips pressing into the mat or pressing into your blanket. Feel your bolster or your blocks supporting under your knees. Feel your head and shoulders melting into the mat. Allow your hands to just observe and feel your breath as your belly rises and falls. Maybe imagine a bright, powerful light coming from your forehead, almost like a flashlight or a headlamp. And imagine that this light that is shining outward is warm and welcoming. Maybe imagine this light to be a beautiful color of green. You can feel that this light shining out from you, giving you all the power that you need. Continue breathing, observing your breath, observing the light, finding a moment of peace and quiet. start to find your way back into your body. Becoming aware of your breathing again. Maybe doing 3 deep breaths again. And batting your eyes open, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Maybe giving yourself a nice good morning stretch. Pet your kitty. Hi, buddy. And in your time, when you're ready, bringing your feet up, bending your knees, and slowly rolling to one side, maybe pushing your props out of the way. And when you're ready, to slowly support yourself up to seated position. We'll take one deep breath here to close out and seal our practice and to start our day. Inhaling, arms up overhead, reaching toward the sun, wiggling the fingers. And exhale, palms together, coming down to heart, bowing our heads. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your practice this week. I hope I get to see you again next week. Namaste.